Hello and welcome to the countdown of the celebrations marking the 20th anniversary of the 22nd July Revolution. In the coming days, we will be talking to key personalities on why we celebrate this gigantic occasion. With me to kick off the countdown is the Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Bala Garba Jahumpa. He's also overseeing Minister for the Ministry of Information, Communication and Infrastructure, and is also Secretary General of the APRC Party. Honorable, welcome to the countdown.
Thank you very much, Alhaji Malik.
Honorable, there is need to celebrate, but why do we celebrate?
Thank you very much again, Alhaji Malik. Thank you very much, GRTS. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent and the Merciful, I bear witness that there is one God. Apart from thanking Allah the Almighty, as vanguards of the July 22nd Revolution, we also wish to take and use this opportunity to extend appreciation and a big thank you to the leader of our revolution, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, Sheikh Professor Dr. Alhaji Yahya Abdul Aziz James Junkung Jame Babili Mansa. Alhaji Malik, why celebrate? Before we dwell on that aspect, allow me to define the revolution. Because when you talk about a revolution, you are talking about advancement. When you talk about a revolution, you are talking about progress. When you talk about a revolution, you are referring to development. Let's say, for example, in the agricultural sector, the era that people moved away from the hoe, bending from morning to sunset, with the introduction of tractors and mechanized agriculture, we say a revolution has taken place in the agricultural sector. Then you come to the area of technology. You would know, Alhaji Malik, the era that we moved away from the gramophone to digital stereos, DVDs, iPhones, Samsung Galaxies. We say a revolution has taken place in the technological sector. You also come to the medical field. If there is a disease, for example, this unfortunate Ebola virus, and medical doctors would do research upon research. Sometimes it takes a long time. But once they discover the vaccine to cure that disease, we say a revolution has taken place in the medical sector. Equally in society, if you have the construction of so many roads, the construction of so many schools, the construction of so many health centers, we also say a revolution has taken place in society. And in the case of the Gambia, hence the July 22nd Revolution. Alhaji Malik, I will present the nation with the facts. These are the evidences. By the time I complete listing down the achievements, all progressive and sincere Gambians would agree with us as vanguards of the July 22nd Revolution that as a nation we have reason to celebrate and we have reason to thank and pray for the leader of our July 22nd Revolution. Alhaji Malik, before the advent of the July 22nd Revolution, in the North Bank, in Farafenni, there was no hospital. With the advent of the July 22nd Revolution, under our leader, His Excellency President Yaya Jammeh Babili Mansa. The Gambians can now boast of the APRC hospital in Farafenni. By the same token, we can also bear witness that in Buyam, before the advent of the July 22nd revolution, there was no hospital in Buyam. But with the advent of the July 22nd revolution, under His Excellency, President Yaya Jammeh Babili Mansa, we have the Suleiman Junkung Hospital in Buyam. You come to the Greater Banjul area, Serekunda, very populated before the advent of the July 22nd revolution. They didn't have a general hospital. But with the advent of the July 22nd revolution, under His Excellency President Yaya Jammeh Babili Mansa, we now have the Serekunda General Hospital. Also, Alhaji Malik, throughout the length and breadth of this nation, we have different health centers from Banjul to Koina, so that the Gambian people can have access to medical facilities. Before the advent of the July 22nd revolution, Gambian people have seen the airport, Banjul International Airport. The old terminal is still there, and the new one is still there. For comparisons, before the advent of the July 22nd revolution, we had a terminal that was meant for 74 passengers. But with the advent of the July 22nd revolution, under our leader, His Excellency President Yaya Jammeh Babili Mansa, we can now boast of the Banjul International Airport. As vanguards of the July 22nd revolution, we can bear witness that during the transition in 1995, when His Excellency was laying the foundation stone of the Banjul International Airport, many reactionary forces, both at home and abroad, doubted whether the Gambia or as Africans we were capable of such a project. But by the time the new Banjul International Airport was inaugurated, I am sure those people were burying their heads in sand. Because not only that it was built in the Gambia, but it was also designed by an African in the person of Per Ateba Kuchabi. Thank you very much. And then beyond that, Alhaji Malik, before the advent of the July 22nd revolution, in this country, we can recall, we can bear witness that many children and many students used to travel from up country to come to the Greater Banjul area to find schools. Not only to get schools, but once you get a school, you also have to find a family in Banjul or in Serekunda to accommodate and feed you. But with the advent of the July 22nd revolution, under His Excellency President Yaya Jammeh Babili Mansa, that is now water under the bridge. Because throughout the length and breadth of this country, we have various basic and secondary schools. And higher education, before the advent of the July 22nd revolution, many Gambian students did not have the opportunity for a university education. It was only members of the Gambian bourgeoisie that have access to scholarships and higher education. But with the advent of the July 22nd revolution, under our leader, President Yaya Jammeh Babili Mansa, the Gambia now has a university. Not only that, Alhaji Malik, but students from very poor family backgrounds have access to the University of the Gambia, not only access to the university, but also benefit from scholarships of the APRC government or personal scholarships by His Excellency the President. Now, these are just the first phase that I am saying by the time I finish, all progressive Gambians and non-Gambians would agree with us as vanguards of the July 22nd revolution that we have a reason to celebrate. I will come later to other infrastructural developments.
Absolutely. I was going to say that this is all culminated and from the vision of the leadership. Now, a president like President Dr. Alhaji Jammeh is a visionary leader. He has a lot that he wants for this country, and this has been manifested. Can you shed light on this man and the vision he has for this country?
Thank you very much, Alhaji Malik. This honorable man, His Excellency, Sheikh Professor Dr. Alhaji Yahya Abdul Aziz James Junkung Jammeh Babili Mansa, is the product of the younger generation of African revolutionaries. His Excellency President Yahya Jammeh has been very consistent in his commitment and dedication towards addressing the needs and aspirations of the Gambian people. Beyond the borders of the Gambia, His Excellency President Yahya Jammeh Babili Mansa would also not hesitate to defend the African continent. He would also not hesitate to expose and criticize the prolonged suffering of the African people, either under colonialism or after colonialism. So for us as vanguards of the July 22nd revolution, His Excellency President Yahya Jammeh Babili Mansa represents the younger generation of African leaders that the African continent was yearning for. Where were the Nelson Mandelas? Where are the Stephen Bikos? Black consciousness not in the sense of color, but black consciousness in the sense that as Africans, we must believe in our capabilities. We must emancipate ourselves from mental slavery and believe in the African capabilities. So His Excellency President Yahya Jammeh represents that generation of African leaders that the African youths were yearning for.
That's the man that has given you all the hope. He's given you the light. He's shed that light. He's made it very clear to all and sundry that this is not for me. This is for the Gambia in general. Let me take you now to one very crucial area where I think the Gambia has made gigantic strides. In the area of good governance, let us, for example, look at the holding of elections. There has been a huge difference from what pertained in the First Republic and what it now obtains in the Second Republic vis-a-vis the holding of elections.
Thank you very much, Alhaji Malik. In the holding of elections and good governance, as you rightly highlighted, before the advent of the July 22nd revolution, elections in this country used to be conducted by the Ministry of Local Government. And the returning officer of such elections used to be in the person of the permanent secretary, who is part of the system. The permanent secretary of the Ministry of Local Government used to be the returning officer. But with the advent of the July 22nd revolution under our leader, we now have an independent electoral commission who conducts the electoral affairs of this nation. And as part of good governance also, here we are, Gambia radio and television services, which we can use as a medium, as a platform to sensitize our people, the Gambian people, on agricultural matters, on health matters, on educational matters. These are all part of good governance. And also, beyond elections, good governance also entails people having access to education. That is a human right. People having access to medical services. That is also a human right. And no one can dispute. The evidence is there. These are the objective conditions in the country that good governance does prevail in the Republic of the Gambia.
You're viewing the countdown to the celebrations marking the 20th anniversary of the July 22nd revolution. And with me in the studio as my guest is the Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs as well as the Secretary General of the APRC Party. One crucial area that you have mentioned earlier on was education. Education, let me take, for example, tertiary education. The University of the Gambia is like the cream, the icing on the cake.
Exactly, Alhaji Malik. The University of the Gambia was one of the best things that has happened to this great nation. And thanks to the leader of our July 22nd revolution, His Excellency President Yahya Jammeh Babili Mansa. Because you need an educated society. You need an educated public. And without the APRC government, under our leader, the Gambia would not have benefited from such a higher institution of education. And I said earlier, not only that, but it is not irrespective of your ethnicity, irrespective of your political affiliation, irrespective of your religious denomination. We all have access to university. And also to scholarships funded by the APRC government and the majority funded by His Excellency the President himself. And when he funds students, we do not ask about your political leanings or your ethnicity and other considerations. Mostly it goes to very poor students whose families cannot afford to send them to attend higher education. And Alhaji Malik, we come back to the initial why celebrate. As I said to you, I want to present the facts to the Gambian people. All progressive Gambians would agree by the time I finish that we have a reason to celebrate as a nation and as a people. Before the advent of the July 22nd revolution, we can all bear witness the conditions of some of the infrastructure in this country. But with the advent of the July 22nd revolution, we were able to achieve the following infrastructural developments. If my memory serves me right, the first road project that we embarked upon during the transition was the construction of the Bundung Highway. We also, Gambians would recall, before the advent of the July 22nd revolution, what the Kombo Coastal Road used to look like. To travel from Banjul to Gunjur or to Sanyang
was a nightmare.
Thank you very much. More than a nightmare. the Gambian people can tell you that. And with the advent of the July 22nd revolution, under our leader, His Excellency President Yahya Jammeh Babili Mansa, we were able to construct the Kombo Coastal Road. We go to the North Bank, Alhaji Malik. Esew Kerawan Road in the North Bank. Kerawan Farafenye Road in the North Bank. And then you have Farafenye all the way to Lamin Koto. And of course, you have the Kerawan Bridge. Gambians would recall, before the advent of the July 22nd revolution, the difficulty people were confronted with when you come to cross to Kerawan, because there was no bridge. And if the ferry was out of service or it was time for them to close work, you will have to be stopped until the following day. But with the advent of the July 22nd revolution, the Caravan Bridge was constructed, and hence the word Babili Mansa. As I go on, you will also see that the title Babili Mansa is earned, is by merit that the president is also referred to as Babili Mansa. Apart from the Caravan Bridge, we have the Chamoy Bridge in the URR. You have the Karansane Bridge in the CRR. You have the Suduwal Bridge in the URR. You have the Tanje Bridge, Alaji Malik, Kombonot. You have the Suleiman Junkung Sagulekunda Bridge in the CRR, Babele Mansa. Beyond that, you have seen the road from Soma to Base, Mandinaba Soma, Serekunda to Mandinaba Road. You have the Mandinaba to Siliti Road. You have the Bara to Amdalai Road. You have the Base to Wiringara Road, which is ongoing and almost completed. You have the Pakaliba Bridge URR. You have the Westfield to Sukuta Road. You have the feeder roads also, from Mayok to Kanilai, Sangajor to Mayok, from Kalaji, Sintet, Kampasa, all the way to Aragon Kunda. Very soon, with God's guidance, we will embark on the construction of the bridge in Transgambia with our partner, the African Development Bank. You have also seen within the greater Banjul area, there are ongoing works to address the roads in Banjul. As we speak, there you have seen the ongoing works from the Gambia High School going to St. Augustine's, to Box Bar. It will go all the way to Imam Omar Sow, Lasawaf, Angleseen, all the way to the intersection of Hagan Street. And once that is completed, we will also start the actual construction of Independence Drive. From there, we also come to the greater Banjul area. You have what? The Kotu Bridge, Irinjang Bridge, you have the Manjai Bridge, you have the Bakote Bridge, you have the Bundong Bridge, Bawili Mansa, Bawili Mansa, Bawili Mansa.
You have been Minister for Works and Infrastructure. Of course, I mean, you have seen a lot of these projects get underway and get completed. Now, there is this slogan which the president has been putting right across to everybody: eat what you grow and grow what you eat. That has really stuck.
Exactly, exactly. And it has gone down well with the majority of Gambians, because it is in our interest as a nation. Because food can be used against any people. So therefore, not only eating what we grow or growing what you eat, but also the president is trying to instill in the minds of the Gambian people that there is nothing dishonorable by being a farmer. There is nothing dishonorable with farming. In fact, if you go to some of these advanced countries, the richest people are who?
The farmers.
The farmers. So it is very important for us to note there is nothing demeaning about doing agriculture or being a farmer. And this has been also one of the developments or one of the achievements of the July 22nd revolution in the area of agriculture. Because Alaji Malik, as Africans, we can look at it. Let's say, for example, during the colonial era, we have some African countries that were producing cocoa, but could not process or pack or in other forms manufacture this cocoa. It has to be sent to European capitals, where it is processed and sent back to us.
In the forms of chocolate.
In the forms of chocolate,
and
we have to buy it at a higher price. The same thing with groundnuts. It is processed elsewhere, and brought back to us in the form of peanut butter and others, and we have to buy it at a higher price. That's why the president is also focused on the establishment of agro-industries or light-scale industries as the productive base of society.
Honorable Minister, let me conclude now by drawing your attention to one key area and a very recent, another accolade we could just put on His Excellency the President. Let's take, for example, his peacekeeping role in West Africa or in Africa in general. We've seen what he's done in Liberia, Sierra Leone, Darfur, and East Timor. And finally, I want you to round up by just making mention of his laudable speech at the United Nations of very recent.
Well, we wish to commend our leader, His Excellency, the President of the Republic, because the statement he delivered at the General Assembly of the United Nations, the 69th, was a factual one.
Absolutely.
Because the President covered so many areas that are affecting international relations, that are affecting humanity. He dealt, for example, with the unfortunate situation that we Africans are confronted with, the Ebola system. And this has been affecting some West African countries for some time, but interventions were very slow to come by. And President has acknowledged and has appealed on the international scene and humanity at large so that we can join hands together to address this Ebola. The President was also very focused on the problems of the Palestinian people, the injustices that has been meted out to the Palestinian people, and the world has been very silent. The President was also able to expose the undemocratic nature of some institutions or some sections of the United Nations. Let's say the Security Council, for example, where Africa as a continent, we do not even have one permanent seat. And Africans have been advocating at least to have 2 permanent seats at the level of the Security Council. And more importantly, for us in the Islamic Ummah, the President was also able to expose the so-called Islamic states and others that are using the name of Islam in order to execute some of their criminal activities. The President made it very clear that all genuine Muslims would wish to disassociate themselves from such activities. This does not represent Islam.
It was a 5-star speech.
It was a 10-star speech.
Congratulations. We have the right to celebrate, and of course we will celebrate.
Yes, Alhaji Malik. And the Gambian people are very honorable people. The Gambian people are very grateful people. And that is exhibited in every elections by giving His Excellency the mandate to advance the revolution. Because a revolution is not stagnant. It does not stay in one place. A revolution evolves. It progresses. It develops under Babili Manta.
Honorable Minister, we will celebrate. Thank you for your time to join us on the countdown to the celebrations.
Congratulations, Gambia.
That was the Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs. Of course, he's also the Minister overseeing the Ministry of Information and Communication Infrastructure. He's also the Secretary General of the ruling APRC Party. The celebrations will begin from the 9th to the 19th, and you can hear most of the program on your local radio stations and, of course, from GRTS. The countdown continues here on GRTS. For me, Malik Jones, bye-bye.